Oh, I didn't know that
what is
Gab. I
Gab?
didn't know that Gab was a Mastodon node. I never
Oh,
knew that. You're not familiar
I'm
with
not
Gab?
familiar with Gab. What
It's
is
like
that?
one of the most popular, like far right wing, like
Oh,
social media networks and platforms.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wasn't familiar.
And then what's the one? There's another one.
Parlor is
Parlor's
the
another
one Kanye bought,
Right.
on behalf of Candace Owens, whose husband is apparently the owner. Yeah, that was the whole thing that popped up after that whole discourse. Is just Kanye got played. He saved a dying platform just so he can be mad at three Jewish dudes, basically.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Legit three people. That's a while to say. I was actually talking to Niles about this yesterday. I forget the dude's name, but one of the people he was pissed at was literally the dude who, by himself, mind you, invented the 360 deal.
Mm-hmm.
And just like has fucked over mad black artists. And it's an interesting conversation because it's like,
wait, who is this specifically? Sorry, I'm
talking about Kanye, but the dude
the 360
the
deal.
the 360 deal dude, I don't remember his name, but he is a Jewish man.
Leor Cohen?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And before people think I'm like pointing that out for fucked up reasons, it's like you have to have that just the ability to parse the fact that, like, yes, there are some Jewish people in the entertainment industry who have fucked over black people, but also there are people of every race that have fucked over black people. Everybody is making money
including
off black people, including black people. Y'all forget about Barry Gordy real fucking fast when shit like this happens. It's wild.
And don't even get me started on Russell Simmons.
Don't even get me started.
I mean, Russell's into some other things, but we'll talk about that at some other point in the future.
Some sexual assault.
Yeah, just a little bit of that.
Just a little bit of that.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know, man.
This is related to what I was just talking to Connor about. Just in terms of like how identity informs who we choose to work with and not work with.
Yeah, right.
And obviously, us as black people, we don't want to be a part of like white supremacist institutions or groups or organizations. And by white supremacists, I'm not talking about necessarily where white people like, are aware, like and intentional. Yeah, where they're saying I'm a white supremacist or I'm a racist. It's even spaces that are just majority white,
right?
And it's a collective of majority white people that do not have a care in the world or concern about trying to change things or accommodate or representation in whatever context.
And sometimes those institutions have a history of maybe they happen to have insured slaves in their in the 1800s, and now they're trying to erase that history of how they made their capital Chase Bank.
But we obviously, like, yeah, we know that. We share that. It's understood.
Right.
But when you get more granular, as I put it to Connor, it's like you have to stand on some like baseline organizational, even just human values and principles.
Right.
And when you start interrogating things at that layer and that level, you start to see all of the openings for where we can work with people of all different kinds of backgrounds.
Right.
To ultimately do things that serve black liberation and freedom, our freedom as people. But our freedom is tied to the freedom of other people, of white people, people of other backgrounds. But this is where the intersectionality piece is important, because it's like we're also talking about poor and working class people. And we're talking about people who understand where they are in terms of class and all those other things. So it's like a lot of layers to it. But when you look at it through this lens, you can just see how ridiculous this kind of shit is.
I mean, it's like if you look at it, I think a lot about the phrase like post-racial society, and to a degree, I this is a very unnuanced sentence, but like to a degree, I believe that's true in the sense that people of any race, any background can participate in capitalism and use the power that they gain.
Or even white supremacy.
Or white supremacy. I mean, yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And use the power that they gain from that to oppress people that look like them, people that don't look like them, even people that are on the basis of their racial identity more privileged than them. You know? Kanye is better off than really most Jewish people.
Right.
You know? But that's not a version of the world that we're used to accepting or talking about.
Right.
You know? And so it's like,
it goes back to this individual understanding the distinction between individual collective.
Yes.
You have to understand, like, they're connected, but when it comes to the day-to-day, how we interact with people, what we do, it's different. We're talking about different levels here.
Right.
So we move with this broader macro systems awareness, but in the day-to-day, if you're serious about deconstructing these broader systems, we have to fucking work with each other.
Yes.
We just do. It's not even a debate. It's not a conversation.
Right.
There's no debate. I mean, the means by which we do that, we could talk about that all day long.
Right.
But in terms of like that baseline reality of like, no, we can't just drift off into our isolated, like, ethnic or racial imagined community silos and then somehow expect to survive.
It's like,
how do you the things that are fucking collapsing on us?
It's
like, just not
how
reality.
do you think the world is going to operate if we just have hundreds and thousands of just ever expanding pyramids that are just bumping up against each other forever?
Right. Yeah.
When we could just level all this shit out and just cooperate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like there's a general idea that people think that we just have like an Earth and it'll just be here and we can just kind of we're chilling. Like,
well, the thing about it is,
that's
like it'll just always be here. There'll be places to go.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Earth will always be here.
Oh, yeah,
it's just a matter of whether we will.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I don't know, man.
It's kind of related. It's kind of related to the passage I wanted to read from this article on Mastodon. It's towards the end of the Verge piece.
Yeah,
they go, Mastodon's conundrum is a microcosm of a much larger conflict online. The internet has given billions of people a way to amplify their voices, but the trade-offs have become tangible. Abolishing gatekeepers can allow misinformation and hate to flourish. Uncensored online forums can become co-opted by bigots and harassers, silencing their less powerful targets. And in the face of violent supremacist movements targeting real people, openness, once an uncontroversial pillar of internet culture, can seem like a hopelessly abstract principle. And then they go, right now, Mastodon and its members are navigating between two bad options. If they completely ignore Gab, they could end up as a less welcoming community for marginalized people. But if they go to war, they risk fracturing Mastodon in the process. And either way, for the moment, Gab has arguably upstaged the work of admins and developers who have been nurturing their communities for years. The piece, in my interpretation, ends on a question mark, but it's like an important
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, it's good that we're at least talking about this and trying to figure it out, because we just know. I feel like just the more people accept that, like, these things are not good. Like, they could be better. Even just that simple of an idea. Like, these apps, these, like, giant channels that we're all on.